Here to help us break all this down is retired Brigadier General and Newsmax contributor Blaine Holt. Also joining us is retired Lieutenant Colonel and President of the London Center for Policy Research, Tony Shaffer. Gentlemen, good morning to both of you. General Prigozhin claims some of Russia's own soldiers now are beginning to support his rebellion. Russian President Vladimir Putin has warned those on a, quote, path of treason, as Shelby just said, or armed rebellion will be punished. Are we starting to see the beginnings of what could be a civil war in Russia? Tony.
Yeah, look, I don't think you're going to see any great progress in a war like that. 25,000 men, you're not going to win the war. You have to have most of the general staff defect, and it's not. Prigozhin, remember, Prigozhin himself, who runs what I can only describe as the ultimate Frankenstein of paramilitary organization, something that actually has criminal elements, it has elements of the Foreign Legion, it has elements of the Russian underworld and prison system. Prigozhin himself is a former convicted criminal, spent time in jail. So they do things that Putin wants done that they can't legally, as the Russian Republic, do. They do the dirty work. They did the dirty work in Bakhmut. So the fact that there's a huge amount of stress and friction between Prigozhin and his Wagner group and the Russian military has been apparent for a long time. I think it just came to a head. And I just, as much as I think they've been able to take a little bit of territory, it's not going to last long, and I think this is going to be put down probably within the next 2 or 3 days.
General Holt, your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I have to agree with what Tony's saying. When you look at the small force that Wagner has and then all of the array of resources that that the Kremlin possesses, I think it's got a predictable ending to it, and I don't see a strategy in play here that's going to net much for Prigozhin. But let's go to the strategic level. There is a very, very big, grave circumstance that's now happened to Putin. On the strategic board, he's got allies like China watching and saying, wow, do you have a handle on this? Should we still have faith in what you're trying to do in the Ukraine? And then on the other side, you've got NATO leaders that are saying, hey, is this the beginning of the end of Putin? Are we starting to see some daylight? Are there going to be other ways to get at him? And is this now a remotivation of what we're doing in Ukraine? This, no matter what's happened, Prigozhin has set the Russian effort back severely, just damaged it severely in every way you can imagine.
Certainly. Gentlemen, I want you both to take a listen to this message here about loss of life. This came from Prigozhin. He's after taking military installations in Rostov-on-Don. Take a listen, guys.
Vast frontline territories have been lost. There are 3-4 times more killed soldiers compared to what is being reported in documents to the leadership. And what is reported to the leadership is up to 10 times more compared to what is being said on TV. We have daily losses of up to 1,000 people.
Без вести пропавшие, раненые и так называемые отказники, которые отказываются не потому, что они струсили, я уже говорил.
Okay, well, there you go. Prigozhin claims that some of Russia's own soldiers are beginning to support his rebellion as well, as we just heard earlier. Why do you think that they are turning on Russia now? Lieutenant Colonel, I'll go to you.
Well, first, as Blaine said, this is a strategic issue as much as a tactical one. The issue now becomes, can Prigozhin do specific tactical damage to weaken Putin? He's not going to win this physically. He's not going to take 25K and march into, like Hannibal, march into Rome, march into Moscow. So what he's got to do now is create the information war space that he can win in. This is part of it, trying to say everything you've said is a lie. Now, he's using some good truths in that. He said in one of his missives that, well, this was all about oligarchs benefiting from Ukrainian resources. Absolutely correct. I've said this from day one. They want the gas and oil. But on top of that, now the numbers are always off. Both sides do this. But I think right now what he's trying to do is essentially damage the whole perception, as Blaine said, that the Russians have had an overwhelming victory. Remember, we have not seen the Russian reporting here to any great degree. According to Russia, to the rest of the world, they're doing great. And so that may not be completely true, and that's what you see Prigozhin trying to punch holes in right now.
Blaine, what does all of this mean for Ukraine? I mean, with this infighting happening now within the Russian military, how does this affect the war in Ukraine?
Oh, they have to be greatly encouraged. You know, they've needed a break. The counteroffensive wasn't getting off to such a good start. It was heavily delayed. There was logistics issues. This really does breathe new life into what Kiev is trying to get done. And what Prigozhin's done from an informational side is done nothing but motivate the Ukrainians, and really they're making Russians question, what are we doing in this war? So there's a big game changer. Let's peel back the onion and the curtain on all of this, though. I would love it if everybody would keep focused on the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant. It is without cooling water now for about 15 to 20 days, and it's only going to get worse there. And while all this is going on, we've got to really watch. Will either side take advantage of that? And what does that mean for this war?
Certainly, it is going to be interesting to see how this does play out over the next few days. Brigadier General Blaine Holt and Lieutenant Colonel Tony Shaffer, thank you both so much.